Dr. Randall, the Soul Doctor, author of Soul Doctoring, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet, shares her 40 years of experience as a cross-cultural practitioner, medical futurist, and expert in 20 different modalities of healing, along with amazing interviews with some of the leading minds in medicine and big thinkers in all walks of life. The stories of our lives are the woven energies of our soul's paths. They feed and ignite the spiritual light that nourishes the universal soul, the one mind, the cosmic consciousness where we all come together. This podcast is going to be a deep dive into the personal stories of people who have made significant contributions to the planet. What formed them? What moved them to become these leaders and innovators that inspire us so? Hi, Janet.
Hi, Marlene. How are you?
Good, great. So good to see you. This is, one of my kind of dreams is to have you on my podcast. I mean, I practice not 20 feet away from you.
That's
but
right.
I know, but when I do a podcast with somebody, it always amazes me how more deeply I understand them and
Yes.
what they do. Like, they can be doing stuff 20 feet from me and I don't even know some of the stuff that you do. So
Yeah, I know.
This is great. This is really great. I love this.
Awesome.
So allow me to introduce you, if I can, Janet Montgomery.
Yes.
So thrilled to have you on.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Janet Montgomery is a certified hypnotherapist
Yes.
who graduated with honors from Hypnosis Motivation Institute. She received the Director's Award for Remarkable Performance, not surprising, and achievements during her professional training. Janet has been in practice for over 20 years, 2 decades, and has worked with hundreds of clients in her Woodland Hills office, where we practice together there.
That's right.
As well as remote sessions across the country and the world, really.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. I'm privileged that way too sometimes. So Janet is a certified neuro-linguistic programming and guided imagery specialist. And that's what I didn't know about the neuro-linguistics programming. So that's
Sure.
I didn't know you did neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I love that. She uses breath work to calm the nervous system, which can boost the immunity, lower blood pressure, calm stress, improve health overall. Janet uses goal-setting assignments with her people to motivate them to achieve their goals. And I've referred a lot of patients to Janet, so I get that she's really good, and I get a lot of stuff she does, but I didn't know all of this.
Oh, thank you.
Janet works with anxiety, depression, negative core beliefs from childhood.
Oh, yeah.
I learned recently, you probably already know this, but there's a certain brain patterning that comes with negative thinking, and it may not even have to do with core beliefs. It's just like how their brain is. And even people that have done all the work possible, breathing and meditation and everything, they still have this kind of like, if you're driving a Mercedes, you can't make it into a Tesla, but
Right.
But it turns out that, and maybe you know this, but that training the brain to think positively really can change your brain structurally.
Right.
So I was really interested in that because, I'll have people that I've, got them to do everything and they're still, have issues. So
Right.
it's a good thing to know. Anyway, also she works with unwanted habits, phobias, confidence issues, self-esteem challenges, panic attacks, test anxiety, pre and post surgery preparation. Mm-hmm. That's great to know too.
Sure.
Sports performance and many other challenges. So yeah, when I have somebody that's really in trouble, I send them to Janet.
Thank you.
Janet uses her extensive life experience and intuition along with her maternal instincts when working with her clients. That's so interesting because when I tell my patients about you, because they're usually tender, kind of anxious people, I'll say, she's very maternal.
Very maternal, yeah. I can't help it. It just comes out. Mm-hmm.
Could you give my guests a little experience? I mean, I know everybody's probably different that comes into your office, but
sure.
A little taste of Hypno-Janet.
Okay, sure. How I explain it to them when they come into the office, they have filled out my intake form, and at the bottom it says, please complete the following. If only I could. So it makes them think about, if only I could what? And a lot of people will say, if only I could be happy. That's big. And so when they come in, I go over that and I say, well, let me explain to you about what hypnosis is and what it's not, so that you're really comfortable with the process. And of course, I have to dispel the myths about the barking like a dog, quacking like a duck kind of thing. And it's not mind control, and I have to dispel all of that. You mean it's not like what you see on TV? I'm like, no, that's stage hypnosis. I don't do stage hypnosis. Mine is clinical and therapeutic, but I know of people that do that, but that's just not what I do. Anyway, so then I explain to them how the mind works. And then what I'll start out with is I'll draw a diagram. And the reason I tell them I'm going to draw this diagram in front of you instead of giving you a handout or a download about the mind is because that won't make any sense. So let me just go ahead and draw this in front of you. So I'll make this big circle and I'll explain this circle is like an iceberg. Let's think of it like that. And then I'll draw a line at the top, just a little ways down. And I'll say, this is like the tip of the iceberg, and this is going to represent your conscious mind, right? Logic, reasoning, willpower, and decision making. That's where you tell me, I want to be happy. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. I said, that's a very logical and wonderful thing to want, right? And they'll go, yeah, that's what I want. And then I'll say, well, you say it here, but you see this big part down here below that small area? That is the vast territory of your subconscious mind, which is all about attitudes, memories, beliefs, and behaviors. Everything that makes you you. And we have programs running. It's like pluses and minuses. Yay, good experience, terrible experience. Loved it, can't stand it. And they're called knowns because they're known to you. And in between conscious and sub, we have kind of a guard. And our guard is not trying to be mean. It just bases what it'll let in on what you already know. Mm-hmm. So you can say, yes, I want this. But your guard says, well, let me look at her existing program. And I'll let you know if I'll let it in. And it'll say, what about, she says or he says, I want to be able to do this, to do that. And let me look at the existing program. Oh, gee, that's not familiar. Oh, remember what happened many years ago in kindergarten? Remember what happened yesterday? Remember what happened in junior high? Oh, no, I can't let that in. It's way too different. And so that idea will be rejected. And that's why you can't just say, boom, from now on, I'm going to be this way or that way, because your mind is defended against it. Change is a threat. Your mind's not trying to be mean, that guard in between conscious and sub. It just wants the familiar. The mind craves the familiar. And at the bottom, I'll explain there's the primitive mind. When you're born, you have two fears that have come with you. Falling and loud noises. Everything else you've learned to be afraid of. You're not born being afraid of snakes and spiders and things like that. You have to be taught to be afraid of things like that. But those of us who come down from a long line of anxious types, we can be triggered more easily than the next person. Like depression and anxiety, panic attacks run in families. So those of us who have it in our family, we're just more predisposed to have those anxieties and fears. And you start to learn through identification and association. which means you start to learn in your world what you should approach, what you should avoid. I should go toward this thing, I should go away from it. Because we work on a pain-pleasure principle. And so therefore you learn, well, if I do A, well, then it means B, and it's right in your subconscious mind now as a program. Then we have fight, flight, and freeze, which is just the mind's attempt to keep you alive and well, which is a wonderful thing, except when it's not. And then it gets in the way because it's such a primitive part of the brain that it acts like we're in the days of a lot of predators, and we have to be so hypervigilant. And so if we have, in our environment, we hear something, a growl or something like that, we're going to go, oh no, and we're going to get a jolt of adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormone. All this is going to kick in so that you can get away from the predator, so you can run faster than you ever would. But if you cannot run away, you're going to have to stay and fight stronger than you ever would. And if you can't do that, you're going to stay and freeze in fear and do nothing. And then maybe the predator won't see you. And then you can live another day and go back to homeostasis, balance. It's like, whew, I'm glad that's over with. Yay. But in our modern lives, if it's not something that's really going to kill you, let's just say, gee, that relationship didn't work out, or that's making me upset, or I got criticized the other day, whatever. It's not going to kill you, but it hurts. Or it doesn't feel good. And if we don't resolve that situation, or that situation just doesn't resolve itself, we're always generating that uncomfortable sensation inside. And over time, if we don't go back to balance or homeostasis, we can become anxious, panicky, depressed, and ill, because we're not supposed to live and breathe in a fight, flight, or freeze. It's for bursts of energy to save your life, not as a lifestyle. That's when we have our problems. And then I explain, I'm going to show you now where all your stuff came from in the first place. And they're like, whoa, all my stuff, personal stuff? Yes, this is where all your stuff came from. Number one, it's called the law of repetition. Anything that you do over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's going to make its way to your subconscious mind as a program. That's why you can get in your car and drive without having to say, how do I do that? It's because it's within you. It's automatic. It's been programmed. Or how you do the work that you do, or you get up on this side of the bed and you do this and you do that automatically because it's been habituated. Self-talk, how you talk to yourself. And if you're telling yourself, yay, I got this, it's good, it's all right, I'm going to be okay, and yay, and I've got what it takes and all that, and you do that over and over again, your mind's going to go, okay, that's what I believe. Or if we do the opposite and we say, I can't, I'm not enough, I won't be able to do this and that and this and that and this and that, and that'll make it to your subconscious mind as a program as well. Because your mind's not saying, oh, only repeat good things. It's anything that is repeated will make its way to your subconscious mind. And then the next way something comes in, information comes in, is through something told you by an authority figure, like a parent or a teacher, someone who comes down from a high position. That doesn't have to be learned, and it can take just once. And when we're little, we don't have much of a filter at all. We're like these little sponges and everything goes right in. So if you were told growing up, whammo, right into your subconscious mind that you are the best child in the whole wide world, we love you, we think you're adorable, you felt safe and snuggly in your little bed at home at night, not a lot of chaos or drama in your household, you're going to feel pretty good about yourself. Really nice space in which to thrive. But if, like many of us, that did not happen, and we got information that not enough, criticize, chaos, drama, whatever, you're coming from there. And that's why we self-sabotage, not on purpose, but subconsciously. And you do hear it in the news or wherever. So-and-so had everything they could have ever wanted and they blew it. And you're like, what? Why'd they do that? Because somewhere in their subconscious mind, that's what they do. That's how they feel. And we choose the people in our lives that maybe we shouldn't, or we do this that we do sometimes that we shouldn't, because of the familiarity, and we will recreate history over and over again. And then another way information comes in is a powerful experience, whether it's yay, the best day, or it was awful and scary, makes no difference, blasts right through past the wall of resistance. And this is why you remember where you were when something took place in your life that was big emotionally. You may not remember what you wore or had for breakfast, but you will remember the event, because your mind says this is terribly, terribly important. Don't forget it. So you don't forget it. And hypnosis, the naturally occurring state of mind in between being awake and asleep. You do it every day. Anyway, when you drift off to sleep, when you begin to awaken, even driving down the freeway and you miss your exit because you zoned out. These are all types of hypnosis. So you can see that's something that's very familiar to you, right? So one type of hypnosis would be, let's say you're watching television, you're reading something or whatever, and you go to bed and you have a really strange dream. And that is because the information will be hovering around, especially within 30 minutes of our guard who doesn't like change, relaxes, your brainwaves slow down, and that information is delivered to your subconscious mind, and it's processed through images, symbols, pictures, metaphors, kindergarten yesterday, and it gets vented out through a dream. It's house cleaning. So with hypnotherapy, instead of some random bit of information or whatever, it's a carefully crafted piece that you and I would create together, delivered to your mind when your guard is resting. Just what you do every day as you drift to sleep or zone out. Zoning out is a kind of hypnosis. So we want to make a suggestion through images, symbols, again, through something really great that you want, seeing yourself do it, also direct suggestions about how something is going to go the way you want it to, delivering that will go in. And then through repetition, that will wire in, and it will override the older, weaker messages because you're going to use it more. And that's how it works. So the subconscious is like 88% of the mind power, and the conscious mind is like 12. And that's why you can't just say, well, poof, from now on, I'm going to be doing this and doing that, because your mind is defended against change. And that's why.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. It's beautiful the way you wove that, and also gave us a lot of information about what hypnosis really is.
Thank you.
And thank you for mentioning that it's not turning you into a duck or something else. Because sometimes I'll say to my patients, you really need to see Janet. She's a wonderful hypnotherapist. They go, oh, no, I don't want to be turned into a duck or I said, no, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. She's a wonderful, really, I find her to be like a therapist, for my patients. At least they come to her for a problem. She helps them resolve it. To me, that's therapy. And it's usually something, like you mentioned, something that's a fear or an anxiety or that's a life challenge. And that's therapy. So
exactly.
Hypnotherapy, that's why they call it hypnotherapy.
That's right. That's right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And, you go to the heart of the matter. Mm-hmm. And it's very efficient as well, because what we're not doing is we're not just kind of recycling what happened, not over and over. It's more about, let's see what we can do to really get in there and repair it. Mm-hmm. And then I love giving homework assignments, and I have this one process that is so great that I think it is. I like it. I think it's great, and most of my clients really like doing it. And and I always tell them the longest part of it is just right now. We're going to put it together. It's a structure of what they want to achieve and what we're going to do to get it, and then there's a little system of reward, and then you do it every night before bed. Because then it's going to be a hypnotic experience. Because if not, it just kind of washes over, and it doesn't get saturated in. And so that's why it's done before bedtime. I set it up with them in the office. So it's a structure. So I give them a pad of paper and a pen, and I have a pad of paper and a pen, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to mirror what you're writing so that I know what you're writing. And so at the top, we'll put a line down the middle of the paper, maybe like 3/4 down, and then a horizontal line. The first line's a vertical line. And at the top, we'll say goals, and then a slash mark, outcomes. An outcome is what you get when you've achieved your goal. You're actually going to get that goal achieved rather than just hoping it happens. Make it happen. And that's why it's going to be called an outcome, because the outcome is the achievement, the fulfillment of the goal. So that's why goals, outcome, same thing. Yay. And then on the left, it's called events. These are the things, and I tell them that this is how we're going to get the job done. This is how we're going to make it happen for you. And at the bottom, it's called nightly check-in. And so I tell them the whole assignment before bed takes 10 seconds. That's it. Because if I make it any longer than that, I was too tired to do it or didn't feel like it or whatever. I said 10 seconds. That's it. And so that's why the assignment that we go through that takes just about almost the whole session is to design it, customize it for them.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's a cool thing. And so it just leads them towards what they want to see happen. And again, through repetition, and the mind likes rewards. So there is a reward. And so that's an assignment that I really love giving, and it works beautifully. It
sounds great. It sounds like the outcome would be the reward too. So
indeed, yeah, you bet. Yeah, and then I tell them, look, if you get, on your list of events, if you already did it, it could be something simple as make that appointment. And I said, if you've done it already, take it off your list and put something else. Little teeny things, because sometimes people have things that they really want to achieve. And then I'll say, okay, what's the very first thing we need to do to get that done? And they'll go, well, because they start big, but we need to go the steps to get them to that big goal. And so then we come up with the little steps, each thing, and I'll say, okay, now that you've, let's say, called that person, what's the very next thing you need to do? Well, let's see, I need to update my resume. And I'll go, great, what's the first thing you need to do that? Well, I have to look at the old one, and I have to do okay. And then, I said, after you do that, then we'll do the next thing. And then after that, it's like, press submit. And all the way down the line till we get what we want. And so and then after they have done that, we make the whole list, and I usually do about 21 items on the list. I said, you can have hundreds of events, but let's knock out 21 today. Just the listing of it doesn't mean they have to do it. It means we have to see it, what they want. And then the goals. And some people have, maybe 2 or 3. Some people have 10 that lead to outcomes. But it's a process that extends. It's not like this is going to be done in 1 week. It's an ongoing process. So that works super well.
Yeah, I can see where. So what's your favorite thing to do with your clients or to experience? Yeah.
I think the parts integration is one of my most favorite things to do for clients. And it's amazing things that come out, and I can explain that too. Parts integration, parts work is an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming process. And so we all have different parts of our thinking, all the programs that run. So there will be a part of your thinking that says, I can't, won't be able to. It's too difficult, this and that. And then there's the other part of your thinking that's like, come on, we can do this. So it's like, how you have that kind of disagreement with yourself. I can, and then I can't, and then this sort of thing. So I'll ask them, if you were to, for this exercise, take the part of your thinking that runs the program that says, for example, I can't. And let's just plop it in one of your hands. Just, and then what's that? Like, just for the exercise in your subconscious mind, like in the picture. If we could take the program that says, I can't, that was awful, it was terrible, I won't be able to. And like, if we could take it out and put it in one of your hands, which hand would you choose? And we'll say, we'll say, don't overthink it. First impulse. Mm-hmm. It'll either be right or left. And I'll go, okay, great. What does it look like, sound like, feel like, or remind you of? The part of your thinking that holds you back. And I'll say, well, for example, some people say, gee, it reminds me of a mountain I have to climb, or it reminds me of or it could be a feeling. It could be a kinesthetic thing. It could be, it feels like I can't breathe, or it could be something you hear or feel, or sometimes people don't know what it is at all, but at least we know it exists. And some people say, well, it's like a big blob. I'm like, perfect, put a blob there. And then, in the other hand, I'll say to them, let's put the part of your thinking that goes, seriously, other part, we can do it. Come on, we can do it. Come on. And so we'll put that other kind of cheerleader part, shall we say, or the part that says it is possible in that hand. And I'll say, what does that look like, sound like, feel like, or remind you of? And they'll say, well, sunshine. I'm like, perfect. Let's put sunshine in that hand. And then I'll do a dialoguing with the different parts. And what comes out, and I tell them the reason it's done like this is like they're talking about them. The parts are talking about them. Well, I tell her she can't do it, or I tell him he can't do it, and this and that. And they actually will get right into it. And then I go, and I tell them the reason it's done like this is because the information that comes out is more raw, more pure, less edited, and you don't have to think about it so much. And I can just pull out some real gems, how you actually think. And these parts will give it up, basically. And the best part is when one part goes, I've been telling them for years you could do it. And the other part goes, well, I've been trying. And then you get this agreement. And that part goes, well, finally, that kind of thing. And then we'll have them change the image of it as well. So it's no longer a blob or whatever. So, and it's a very fun and cool process. And it just gets so to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
So probably that's my favorite thing to do.
Awesome. Well, this has just been so informative. What would you say, you obviously can't be everywhere and meet with everyone. Do you have any pearls that you could give my guests for them to help themselves? It's kind of a difficult time right now, and there's a lot of anxiety. And
yes. Oh, absolutely. There is. I hear it every day. I really like the quote by Carl Jung, which says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life, and you will call it fate. So it's about making what's unconscious conscious.
Say it one more time.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will run your life, and you will call it fate.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. That reminds me of our friend that we share, Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
And he was this very artistic, brilliant guy, but what ran his life were his thought viruses, and he even called them thought viruses.
That's right. And he would default to those.
He tried very hard.
Did try. Really tried.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. What would your message for the planet be? Janet?
Oh. First of all, to be kind.
Aw.
That's to be kind.
So important.
It is. It really is. It starts with that, to be kind to one another. And
ends with that,
It does. And and just be thoughtful of the planet, and be, careful with it. Then the animals and the plants, and they share this planet with us. We don't own it. I have some CDs. Their CDs are now out, but they go streaming too. And what I like to do, there's a message in each one on these guided journeys about being kind to the planet.
Nice.
And one of the, exactly, I'm glad you brought that up, because I like to educate them, get them early. So when I take them on a guided journey, we go to the sea, and like imagining we can swim under the ocean. And I would say, now remember, this is their home. We're just visiting. It's their home. And so when they think of it like that, we don't just own the oceans and the land. We share it, and to nurture it, and to care give, and to love it, and that's my sensitivities come out, and when I hear things that it's very tough. So that's what I would say, is to be mindfully aware of the planet that we share with the animals and the plants, just the beauty of it, the air, everything. It's just, we don't own it to consume. And and that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
I'm with you, sister. But yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So this is, tell us again, it's a CD made for children?
Yeah, I have a few, and there's always a message about the earth.
Yes.
And so forth. And
how do people get that if they
want?
Well,
it's on Amazon. There are a few on Amazon, and you would look up Sleep Well for Kids, Janet Montgomery, and I have a business partner, Jeff Gold, and he does the music and the sound effects of the little animals and so forth. So yeah, so that's how they would find that. So it's Sleep Well for Kids.
Let's go on a journey. First, please get comfortable and snuggly so that you can get that nice, sleepy feeling. Very good. Just imagine there is a beautiful soft light shining down on you. This light can be any color you want. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, maybe white or silver, or maybe a whole rainbow of colors all at one time. You choose whichever one you like.
There's the first one was, let's see, we go to the meadow and the farm. That was the first one. And that's just called Sleep Well for Kids. And then the next one is Under the Sea. The next one is about the planets. And then when we get to Earth, then I talk about the Earth and, being careful and mindful of the Earth. And then I have a little one, just a short, goes under bedtime stories. And that's another website with my business partner anyway, and that's called My Calm World. And so if they just wanted to get that, you can get it with a download or whatever. And I know my niece and nephew and my grandchildren love it.
Oh honey, that's great. I mean, I'm covering the adults, but you're covering the children. That's so important, right? They're going to be are going to be the new guardians of this place. So yeah, that's wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's my contribution to try and change things through children that way.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
And so these aren't on your website, or?
Yeah, they are on the website too. If they go to my website, they can see that as well. So,
well, tell us about your website.
Okay. It's hypnojanet.com. So it's HYPNO. Janet, JANET My website will come up, and they can peruse the whole website, and all those things will come up.
Good.
And there's some guided imagery, little clips, some interviews I did a little bit, and I did a little segment. I didn't put the segment because I don't know if I can do that, but the show Botched. Mm-hmm. I was on that. I did. I was the hypnotherapist for one of their people that wanted to have some work done, even though she did not need that, and they didn't do it for her. But my role was to relax her and give her confidence in just being who she is.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. So that was fun. Years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it all adds up, doesn't it? And if other people hear it, it helps them too. So I love that.
Yeah. So on the website, it'll say, a guest appearance on Botched, So
how do people reach you if they would like to see you? And do you do telemedicine as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. We can do in office, and we can do Zoom, or we can do FaceTime or phone. I've done it. That way for years, even before the situation. Mm-hmm. Now I did it before. And so I can leave a phone number if you want me to leave a phone number.
Sure, please.
818-458-8564. And I mentioned the website, and email Janet at hypno, Janet.com.
Great. Well, I'm just so happy because I want more people to have access to the beautiful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I love the planet work.
Oh yeah, that's a little side thing I have going on in addition to my practice. In my practice, I only see adults. Yeah, I mean, on the rare occasion, I'll see a child. I used to, but I don't much anymore. So it's pretty much adults only for my practice. But the recordings are for children mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Lovely. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for coming on, Janet. I enjoy you so much.
Oh, you too. Marlene, you too. It's wonderful to see you.
And I love you. And happy birthday. And I'll see you soon.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yeah. All right.
Take care.
I'm Dr. Gail Randall, creator and host of Soul Stories. I just want to thank you for listening to my podcast. I recently got a notification from the International Podcast People, and I was astounded that so many countries are listening to my podcast in the category of alternative health. So thank you, and please continue to listen. I especially want to thank Egypt, Croatia, Japan, and Switzerland, also France and Ireland, because my numbers were quite high there. So keep up the good work, and check out my Instagram at Dr. Gail Randall, and particularly check out my Instagram TV, where you can hear me talking about alternative medicine subjects and also see me. It's a very good show, and I think you'll like the subjects. It's on 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Friday, but it's recorded there, so you can find it there anytime you look. Okay, thanks again. I love you guys. This is Dr. Gail Randall from Soul Stories, and author of Soul Doctoring, Heal Yourself, Heal the Planet. I want to thank Saltology, our sponsor, at bathsalt.com, which fits perfectly into my medicine bag as it, like me, calls upon the ancient wisdom and modern technology to heal, especially with the stresses and ills of our modern times. The Bokek brand uses organic salts combined with organic essential oils sourced from ancient Egypt to provide a perfect remedy for your bathing ritual and healing from modern stresses. The Relief RX brand is a unique one-of-a-kind healing salt that uses organic CBD, treated with a unique emulsification process to create nanoparticles which easily enter the skin to most effectively heal and relieve aching muscles and joints. Whether from chronic inflammation or just a rough workout, this is the perfect healing bath, especially when you add the organic essential oils of neroli, lavender, eucalyptus, or grapefruit. Your body, mind, and soul will be lifted and soothed like never before. Go now to bathsalt.com. I also want to give special thanks to Larry Antonino and Agora Borealis Recording Studio for music and score, and also to closetotheearth.com for IT and computer assistance. Also supported by Randall Wellness Network, bringing health and wellness to you directly. Medical futurist Dr. Gail Madeleine Randall brings 40-plus years as one of America's most forward-thinking doctors, healers, and emerging authors onto a diverse media platform to empower our paths to health, wellness, increased consciousness, and vitality. Gail Madeleine Randall, MD, has long practiced, taught, and encouraged patients to take control of their healing processes and journeys. Randall Wellness Network provides a 360-degree platform for people to heal themselves, and she most emphasizes regenerative approaches for healing individuals, communities, and the planet as one. For more information, go to drgmrandall.com and Instagram at drgailrandall, and check out the robust Instagram series on Instagram TV, also Facebook, Randall Wellness, and also Dr. Gail Randall.